Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, agents. I am Mounty Carl, and this here is a Let's Talk on The Division. Tonight, we will cover another fun and engaging topic on what needs to be fixed in this game to keep it alive. And I just gotta say, yesterday's video was a rousing success, and so much so that we even had one troll come out of his hole to tell me to stop doing naughty things to myself. Oh, it's amazing, some of the people that leave comments down below, but I love them all, so thank you very much for that. Okay, so before we begin, I want to give a quick shout out to Alvin Elfwine and his articles over at itechpost.com. Yes, this is the same Alvin Elfwine that I have berated in so many videos prior to this, but apparently, he has had a change of heart and has actually made legitimate news articles surrounding the Division, and since he's the only one out there doing it, kudos to you, Alvin, for actually reporting on the Division and not using clickbait to get your articles across. This is a legitimate apology for all of the wrongdoing that you've done in the past. I apologize for anything I ever said because your articles have been spot on as of recent, and so just major kudos to you on that. So thank you very much, Alvin Elfwine, if that's your real name. However, I have a feeling it's not your real name, but let's just go with that. So thank you very much. So today, Massive posted a new agent intel for Gearsets and what we thought of them. So I'm going to lay out what I posted right here because it really sums up my feelings on Gearsets. And honestly, the Gearsets aren't really an addition to the game at this point. They actually take away from the game and are probably one of the biggest sources of discord right now because there are, in fact, two sides to this game. And when making these Gearsets, both sides weren't considered and haven't ever been considered, except for one time when they told us that the Nomad perk would not work in PvP. Sadly, it doesn't really work at all. So the Nomad gear set is like scavenging. It works, but only in certain instances. But let me go ahead and get into the major changes. I had like 15 major changes to gear sets that we needed to see. Now, gear sets need to change and bring balance to the game. Remove non-essential stats like bonus money, scavenging, and XP gains. They aren't doing any good in the end game, and even in the regular game, to be honest, they really didn't do anything. Next, remove gear score from the gear and make it, gear progressive. Make it level up with you. I talked about this in a previous video. Allow it to be leveled instead of giving gear at the highest tier. This was from one of my friends that emailed me, Jay Santos. Sorry, I don't remember. But thirdly, rework all the gear sets to have useful perks and bonuses that would separate the gear sets from each other. Example, my channel has a lot of videos of reworking the gear sets into useful perks and bonuses that are useful for building classes. Fourth, make bonuses only for 3, 4, and 5 pieces to avoid creating meta builds that are OP and to keep things consistent across the board. You just nerfed Sentry and Strikers. You need to just do this with the rest of them. Fifth, if gear sets can't be reworked, they need to be discontinued in lieu of newer, more powerful gear sets. Watching Skillet's video, he said that we need to introduce legendary gear sets. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to say that, but I think that they need to be reworked. And so I would say after 268, the next level of gear sets needs to just restart. We need to leave all of these old gear sets in the past, out with the old, in with the new. We start over fresh. We create 4 new gear sets, and we can talk about that later. But 4 new gear sets, 5 new gear sets. Let's go 5 new gear sets that can be released in 1.4 or even survival, something that goes along with that. And we move along from there, and we move along with that. 268's left in the past, and that's it. We just move along and we scrap it. We don't ever talk about it again. You can still use the gear sets. They're still working fine, and we just move along. Now, weapons should be included in gear sets. I think weapons should be included in gear sets. Give perks for using specific guns with gear sets. It would be super cool if the named weapons were tied to a gear set. That'd be cool. It's just a suggestion. No gear set perks should be able to be used in PvP. If you can't be connected to the Division in the Dark Zone, then the Division tech shouldn't work. That's just my opinion. Make gear sets that are specific for the Dark Zone. So when you go into the Dark Zone, you have a gear set that can be worn in the Dark Zone. That way, if you're into PvP, you can go get your PvP gear set and you PvP to your heart's content. It makes it more of a PvP area. Removing rogues from the PvP? Yeah, let's just do that. Just remove the rogues. There's no reason for rogues. Just go let the agents go around, shoot each other, have some real PvP, just make it a one big PvP zone. There's nothing in there that you need to do. Just let them run around, put gear sets on. It doesn't matter. Make gear sets and builds savable. Make it so that you save this stuff so that you don't have to continually go and add it on here and add it on there. Put a little section that says, give them 3 major slots to be able to just click on it and you auto equip all of that stuff, and there you go. That's what you need. And then you can go ahead ahead and do whatever you want. No, it's great. Make the gear sets do what they actually say they do, that the bonus does. You know, things like Predator's Mark and Nomad. Make them actually work. Strikers, make them so they're not broken. You know, there's lots of things that you can do with that. You know, part of the problem with gear sets is that some of them don't work. Make gear sets look unique. Now, this is just a vanity thing. Make them look unique. Right now, everything looks the same. It looks like a backpack, a hat, you know, a chest piece or something like that. Give them a unique look to them, and that makes it cool so that people can walk around and look cool with gear sets on. Give bonuses for creating combo gear sets. Now, this is really where the design starts taking the hold of it and moving into more of a different direction with it. But go ahead and say like you have 3 pieces of Striker and 3 pieces of Sentry. It becomes a new gear set and gives you different perks. Go ahead and mix and match and make new gear builds and stuff like that. That way you can go ahead and get different bonuses and stuff like that. Make them secretive so nobody even knows about it until they actually equip them, and you know, make this a different meta. Make it cool so that people have something to discover. Make firearms, stamina, electronics base stats on all gear set pieces instead of just the holster, and rework the way they're calculated. Just make it, you know, we're already into this, you know, let's just give up on the whole like re-rolling stats and stuff like that. Make 3 stats a base stat and make everything else re-rollable, something to that effect. But remove the armor stat and make armor bonuses standardized across the board. We already know that you can't play this game without armor on your chest and various other pieces. You need skill on these pieces. You know, there are already standards of how you need to build your gear set, and re-rolling something outside of that doesn't make the gear set work. Make gear sets drop spread, you know, throughout different events. Make it so that, you know, you're not just going to one event and getting all your gear sets. Make it so that you have to do various events to get the gear sets, and just not make it for Falcon's Lost. Nobody likes Falcon's Lost. You guys need to either add checkpoints or get rid of it. Just remove it. We've already killed the APC. It's done. Just make other things more fun. This is the least fun in the... You want to know what not fun is? Not fun is Falcon's Lost, especially when you get to level 15 and you place the bomb and then your entire team gets wiped and you fail. So that's not fun. People don't enjoy that. That's not anything. You don't want to spend 2 hours or an hour doing Falcon's Lost and then losing. Nobody likes that. That's probably, you know, raise your hand if you've left the game because that happened to you. And I know one person that has. So, all right. And rework gear sets to cater to players' playstyle instead of giving random bonuses that are meaningless. Right now, you just slapped pieces of bonuses onto gear sets without actually thinking about what they really need to do and what they mean to the player. Like, is this player going to use this bonus as a playstyle? No, you just kind of gave it a bonus without really thinking, oh, well, we'll just make these bonuses, make them work together, make them do that. That's really what I've been trying to do with a lot of my stuff, like with my gear set reworks. You know, that's what I'm trying to do, is make bonuses that go together. Thinking about these, making them go together, and doing all of that stuff. So that's really about, you know, the stuff that I posted in the forums about that. You're never going to find it. It's going to be buried by the time you guys go find it. So you'll never find out what my Uplay account really is. So now let's get back to what we were talking about before, about the Dark Zone. I was talking about the Nomad gear set in certain instances not working. And no, the issue here is that when gear sets were thought about, the Dark Zone didn't seem like it was a consideration when they were creating the gear sets. And in my humble opinion, that once you step into the Dark Zone, you should lose communication. I just told you that you should lose communication with the Division, and you should lose all of your shade tech abilities and stuff like that. That's right. Your gear abilities should be nullified. However, this isn't going to work either because you have more than just players in there. So for all of those people that are already rushing down to the comments to be like, how dare you say that? Damn YouTubers. What are you doing to this game? Blah, blah, blah. I hate YouTubers. Yeah, I read your comments. Thanks. But yeah, so it won't work. You can't turn off the shade tech because then everything else will kill you, because the gear sets are made for NPCs, and the number one threat in the Dark Zone is NPCs, because you just run by them and get shot in the face. That's ridiculous. This is ridiculous that there's, you have 2 threats. This should, Dark Zone, make it a dedicated PvP area. Just do it. Just do it already. Make it a dedicated PvP area for people that want to go in there and PvP, and don't have any rogue or anything like that. Just let them go in and shoot each other. That's all people want to do. They just want to go in and shoot each other and make sure everybody knows that their E penis is bigger than everybody else's, and that's it. why not give a kill-death ratio? Put in a KDR. That's what these people want. They want a kill-death ratio so they can see and flaunt around and go, I'm number 1 in the division. Look at me, everybody. Ha, 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 look at me. That's what these people want. They want some sort of recognition for pretending to be the best in the Dark Zone. And, we all know what it really means. We can fix the changes we want and the changes that we need to be made, but you know what? There's a lot of stuff that needs to be changed. The enemies in the Dark Zone just happen to be the factor that you can't change the gear sets for not working in the Dark Zone, because that's the main reason the gear sets were made, was for the single player, and there's single player elements in the Dark Zone in the PvP area that they want to do. It's really just there's no balance there. There needs to be a balance. So we can talk about the changes we want, the changes that we need to be made, but there is one thing that I need to talk to you guys about right now before we go ahead and dive into that, and that is the legacy bugs. And if the legacy bugs aren't fixed, and I see a lot of changes and I see a lot of stuff, and they talked about this previously, what the top bugs are that everybody has. That is scary to me. They're asking people what their top bugs are. Shouldn't you guys know at Massive what the top bugs are in the game? Shouldn't that be like your number one priority, is to fix those? But no, we're already moving into changes, like what to change. And to be honest, the legacy bugs need to be fixed, and I have serious doubts that they're going to fix the major bugs in the game that are causing 99% of people to not want to play this game. I mean, they're making changes already that to the balancing of the guns and stuff like that, but they're not going to make a difference, because I and about 99% of other people, and you might just be realizing this now, but you don't realize that the bugs are the number one prevention of fun in this game. The Elite Task Force needs to be a discussion on the bugs and how they're going to fix them, because you could have the best game and it would still be unplayable due to the bugs. So yeah, scrap every idea of changing the gameplay for now and making the shooter centric, and let's put bug fixes at the top of the list of the changes that we want to see. We actually want to see you guys do your job and make the bug fixes that we can. I have one major bug, and then we'll discuss what we need to change in the next way in the game to make it better. So let's start out by talking about the absolute number one bug in the game, and that is Dark Zone lag. I don't know if this is on PC or PS4 because I don't play on them, but on Xbox One, it is the number one reason I avoid the Dark Zone. I can't walk 15 feet in the Dark Zone without the game freezing momentarily and then stuttering. Today, while I was running in the Dark Zone, I froze and then it unfroze and I almost had 0 health, and then I promptly died right after that. And this is the second time, if you watch all my videos, you'll see anytime I go into the Dark Zone, it is constantly just frame rate drop and just lag and just stuttering and over again. And many of you have commented on this lag issue, and this isn't like, it's not an internet thing. I have 150 megabit internet. This is a Dark Zone thing because it only happens in the Dark Zone. It doesn't happen in the underground. It doesn't happen in the PvE area. It doesn't happen in the boot. It doesn't happen anywhere else but the Dark Zone. This would be, above all other things, my most important fix for this game to actually continue to survive. If this isn't fixed, this game is going to die. And that is just the simple fact of the truth, that this bug needs to be fixed. So now that we have that out of the way, let's get back to the changes that we need to see. And I thought I would just do scavenging, but in all honesty, at this point, the change they need to make to scavenging is to remove it from the game. You guys couldn't fix scavenging if you tried. I saw the data file dump. Boss loot is hard-coded, and scavenging would take a huge overhaul to fix. That's what a lot of people don't realize, is that scavenging was something they put in, and the reason why it was only attached to the unnamed bosses was because all of the boss loot was hard-coded into the data. So you can't just change that. It's not a simple fix. So that's the first thing to change, scavenging. And you should personally have an NPC in the game at 1.4 when that's released, handing out full gear sets to players, choosing for making us believe, and even saying that scavenging worked on some higher plane of existence. Just let the players have some full gear set that they want the most as retribution for this one lie that you guys told us. And it was a lie. It was a big one. And you guys lied huge on this one, and you guys are at fault, and you need to fix that and make that right. So I'm not even going to keep going into that, guys, but let's just keep going. Let's talk about crafting. And the reason I'm saying this is that 1.3 ruined crafting for almost everybody. It took what most of us saw as the best way to get loot and made crafting about as useful as scavenging. We had awesome craftable items in 1.1 and 1.2, and then 1.3 you raised the gear level but not the crafting level, and you kind of left everything else in the past and just kind of put crafting on the wayside. And I know that most of these changes are done on purpose and it's easy enough to do. Crafting is a loot table in and of itself. Crafting should be part of the end game and should be relevant to the players, and I'll be honest with you guys, the more I think about these videos, the more and more I realize that with each cool thing that's added, something else is taken away. They used crafting to push people into the Dark Zone and make participation a must-have for Dark Zone, and personally it forced many people into exploiting the Dark Zone, but it was still forcing people into the DZ, more so than gear drops, because the one item that people valued over gear was being able to craft weapons over and over again and get the best roll on them, and not just from the drops. I'm going to go ahead and end my video here. To be honest, I've played in the Dark Zone for a bit today and it actually just completely depressed me. And I played with a few subscribers, and big up to Manny Squad member Infamous who ran with me today in the DZ. But after running in the DZ, I remember why I don't go in there. One, it's for lag, and it was just horrible. And what really killed this game for me, it's the PvP, or the lack thereof, and the lack of thought that went into it. I'm going to pull up a clip and play this clip because this clip represents every single rogue fight in the DZ, and you're going to watch this clip and go, that's 100% true. You're fighting a group of enemies and some guy comes in, kills you, and then you spend the next 20 minutes running after them trying to shoot us. How is this PvP? How is this going to change in 1.4? Because honestly, the Dark Zone is the #1 non-fun zone, and they already said nothing would be done to change this. And honestly, I don't know if Gearsets are going to be reworked to be able to nullify this, but something needs to be done, because it's BS to be able to go into the Dark Zone and kill somebody and then just run away from them without being able to do anything. You have no stamina meter for being able to sprint. You can sprint 5,000 miles in one shot if you really want to, and so there's nothing you can do except for try and chase down rogues and get lucky, and if you can catch them. It's if you're chasing down a group of 4, even 8 people, you're trying to chase down, good luck. There's nothing you can do about it. You run, everybody runs the same speed. Why is that a factor? Why is everybody running the same speed? It's ridiculous. There's so much wrong with this game that it's ridiculous, and for some reason it all seems to stem back to the Dark Zone. Like, why is it that the place everybody wants to be is the place that is the least fun for everybody? Now, anyways, thanks for watching. I do think crafting needs to make a comeback, and I think it would help alleviate a lot of the loot issues. I know that I remember spending a lot of time crafting in 1.1 and 1.2, and then Massive saying that crafting wasn't supposed to be an endgame activity the way we were using it, and because we were playing the game a way that Massive didn't want us to play it, then it got nerfed, and there you have it. I'm just going to end the video now. For all of us here at The Division, let's talk. I am Mounty Carl, and we'll see you all later. Agent out.